All right, so I'll talk about this real quick. This is by far my favorite setup. So let's say I've done all these different drill stations, right? I've done up to stacked mats on tumble track, maybe on a spring floor, maybe with a springboard, but I'm trying to bring it to the real vault. This to me, I would spend, maybe months. And then even once we've moved on past this drill, I'm still returning to this drill. So basically what you'll see on this drill, I'll describe it and then you can see it, is I have, instead of a springboard, we have an 8-inch mat turned sideways. And then we have soft mats over the vault. So everything's soft. You have a lot of forgiveness if you go crooked, and they can work on finding their running at a good speed, doing a round off with good mountain climber and good scoop, and then going nice and straight and rebounding. So they can just focus on all those things without all the fear there. So go ahead and press play. We're even using the narrow hand mat there so that they can make sure their hands are straight. We'll play it one more time and then we'll just leave it on that last screen because you can see the setup pretty nicely. So you see that setup there. So that's, I love it. And we, basically, I'll just talk about where I'd go from here. First of all, with that setup, I actually start them with 3 steps. And I find a spot where they start, I want to say I tell them to start at about 20 feet with 3 steps. And then they adjust from there. They might move forward. They might move backwards. They're actually just going to run, hurdle, and cartwheel. And then once they find their spot, they'll do those 3 steps to round off. And basically, I add 2 steps in 10 feet. So now they're at 5 steps, and they're somewhere between probably 25 and 35. We're just moving 10. Once they find their spot, let's say they find it at 18 feet. Now they're moving to 28. They're doing 5 steps. They're figuring it out. Maybe 28 wasn't perfect. Maybe 29 was perfect. And then they're moving back to 39. They're making adjustments. Maybe 38 was better. So they're at 38, and they're doing 7 steps and so on. And so I get somewhere between, I would say 9 and 11 probably. And I think, maybe eventually they would go to 13. But for a beginner, I would stick between 9 and 11. And I would want to see, I'm going to say full speed run, but I don't really mean that. I probably mean more like 90% of their full sprint. I do think, yes, your Chenko is going to have the most power if somebody can do their full speed all-out run to a great round-off. I have found with your Chenkos that I don't tell the athletes I'm looking for a 90% run, but if they're doing about a 90% run, they're more likely to put their chest up in the hurdle, get a good mountain climber, get a good turnover, have control, have confidence, and actually get the super scoop and the whip open, which is as important for getting power on their block as the run is. So I'm probably going for 90% their first year of competing with your Chenko. So I might be pushing them to run a little faster if they're running slow. I'm not talking so much about the run today and run technique. I didn't save time for that in the lecture. But anyway, we're just building that run, getting confidence. The next step for me would be to pull that, the 8-inch mat out. And I would put the safety zone with a panel between it. They do make panels that are almost the exact same dimensions as the springboard as far as width and length. And you can actually get pretty close on height too. I would probably err on the side of slightly higher than the springboard than slightly lower. Once again, that panel mat is the second step is going to give them natural feedback of how much they turned over. Once they have the panel mat, if I feel confident in their punch, I'm probably going to let them do their first back handspring off the panel mat. If they're not a real strong, have a lot of power, I might use the springboard. But the next step after the panel mat is to put the springboard in. So that's the progression. And then after that, we're moving the mat off the table and actually using the table and putting a wedge back there on the stack so they can snap down and backward roll down it.